Okay, so now we're gonna create the search API feature. And right now you could see that all of this stuff is already done, but now we're gonna have to create the search functionality. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create the API, and then we're gonna have to, integrate and everything. So let's go here into our terminal, and over here, let's just cross all of this stuff out. So close all and make sure you collapse all of this. Actually gonna first of all go to our API folder. So you can see over here we have models and we have routes. So what we have to do is we have to go to the routes, and in here we have to go to the user.route.js. So you can see over here we have user.route.js. We did all of our routes for user, but essentially this is not the user case. We're actually going to have to find the list, right? The listings. So because this is a search functionality for the listing, not for the user, so we have to go to the listing.route.js. Over here, we're going to have to create another one, which is going to be getting a listing, because this one is getting a listing based on a user ID, right? Basing listing ID. And what we want to do now is, get the listing of a general. So we could just get any listing we want. So, this is going to be a public thing, right? So anyone could see listings unless they have, have just logged in or something. So get, we'll just call it get, and we'll have it as get listing, like that. Okay, so now that this is done, we have to go to the controller and we have to create this get listing function. So you can see over here, get listing is already there. We'll call this as get listings. All right. So we'll just have to add this over here. So get listings. This could get more than one listing. And remember that was just a single listing, and this is more than one listing. So get listings. So now we have to go to the controllers, and we could say listing.controller.js, and we could scroll down a little and then add our controller functionality here. So over here we have export const, and we have get listing, get listings, and async, and next over here. So all of this is really nice and looks good. But the thing is, now we have to try and catch. So we're gonna have try and catch. So now the thing is, now for the catch, you could just simply use your middleware to handle it. So next error, all right? But in the try now, this is gonna be a different API. It's actually for the searching, and it's it's gonna be based on filtering. So I'll tell you what we actually have to do. First of all, we have to create a limit. So the limit to the search, so it's like parse int, and we're gonna have to parse int means to convert in int. So normally you would have it all in string. So request.query. If you give query to a search string, you limit it to like some specific number. If you could give it to 2, that's okay. But if by default, if you don't give anything, we'll give it 9. Now I'll explain what that means over here. So suppose if I'm over here and if I say this search, you see the search, this is done, but this doesn't even exist. So I'm just going to give you an example of something else. Okay, so over here you can see just one second. If we search on Google and we say something like MERN. Now if I search MERN, you can see over here we have google.com/search, and then we have question, all right, and then we have query equal to, right, MERN. Now the thing is, this is something like that, and then we have and then we have something, and then we have other things like and again. So normally if I break it down, we could actually do something like this. We have the slash API slash listings, get, and then search. We could just have something like this. So slash API slash listing slash get, and then we have question, and we have search term. All right, we're gonna have the search term, and we equal it to something like, suppose let's suppose I'm not sure, but let's say final. All right, so this is our search term, but we're gonna have to limit the thing. We could limit the thing using, when you want to add some other additional things, you put an ampersand within your search query. So this is an entire search query, and what you're gonna do is ampersand the next thing you want to limit the search query to, let's suppose, only 2 entries. So that's how you limit it, and you could have limited to 9 entries, right? And normally you could just give it like this. Suppose if I just limit it to 2 entries, that means I actually ever gave it. And over here, that's what I'm saying here, request.query.limit. whatever the limit was, just convert that into an int and save it in a variable called limit. Or if it doesn't have been, if it wasn't provided, just keep it as 9. Keep the limit as 9 by default. And now we're gonna have another thing, which is a start index. This is good for paginations. So if I want to parse int, normally you have the request.query dot start index, and you could see that the start index will be given, or you could just start it at 0 by normal default. So start index, suppose you could have and like 9 different entries in one page, and then you go to the next page. So normally it's because it could start in the 0, and then it could go to 1 page, and then 2 page, and 3 page, and 4 page, and so on. You got my idea here. Next, we want the offer. So normally you would have an offer set. So you could say request.query.offer. Now offer is, remember the thing like I said, if it's like a discount, if you have a discount for the listing, then that's just caught. We'll also have furnished. We're getting all these parameters, so you're gonna understand them one by one. We have furnished, and we have request.query, and then we have furnished. Okay, and then these are mostly Boolean true false things, so you're gonna see like equal to true or something like that. So that's really good. Let's go and now move on to the next part, where we have to have the offer. So we have to say if the offer is not defined, so undefined. Normally it could be undefined, right? The offer could be undefined, that it wasn't even selected initially, or the offer could be null, or maybe it could just be false. Okay, if the offer is false or undefined, you could just say get the offer from the database. This is a way to do it. So we have $, and we say in the database, wherever there's offer set to false or true, just retrieve everything and just provide that. All right, this is the query that I'm this is the functionality, the way I could do and say it. That looks really nice, and we can move on to the next part, where we could do the next thing, which is actually what we wanted to do is what we could do is we could just bring this up here, and we could put this all down, and wherever we need the thing, we'll just put it right there. So right now we just said let offer, and now we're going to talk about furnished. So we're saying if furnished, now furnished is almost the same thing. If it's undefined or false, then you could say just bring it from the database, either false or true. That's good. And now let's talk about parking. So let's say if the request.query.parking, and then we could say if it's undefined or false, so we could say if the parking is undefined or false, just parking, take all the parking out, either if it's true parameters or false. I mean, it's parking is included or not, just bring all of them out if this condition is met, and just retrieve it for us. Now one of the most important things is the search term. That's what we're going to search. So we're going to say const, and we're going to say search term right here, and we're going to have it as request.query.search term. And if it's not given, suppose if it's not given, we'll just give it an empty string like that. All right, so the next thing we have is const, and with const we could have sort, and this could be like sorting the listings in terms of when they were latest created, or by latest, or oldest. So query, so you have query.sort, either if it's given, or you could just by default do it at created at, and this is gonna sort it by latest. Okay, so another one is order, and this is gonna be request.order, whatever is given for the parameter URL, or if it's not given, just order it by descending, meaning the highest, meaning like it could be the highest price. So it's normally like normally you could get a house like of $1 million starting, and then it could lower it down to like 100,000 or something like that. So it's just gonna by default do it in descending order. You could change these up according to your needs. So just look at this. And the next things are list. So we could have const listings, and we could have this await call, and we could say listing. Now we have to find this in the database. So we say, okay, what do we need? So we want the name of the listing, and we want regex thing. This is now very important. I'm going to tell you what this means. So we have $regex, and we have the search term. So the search term, whatever you gave, you want to pass it in through regex. So this means, like, suppose if I go into this text file, if I searched for, suppose, final, if I search, this is my search term final. So it could either retrieve me anything, even like a final with a capital F, or maybe it could even give me, you know, like this, inal, or it could even give me AL. It could give me anything, and it could also give me, like, suppose this is like this text and this, and it could just retrieve AL. So this is regex. Okay, so this is regex, and that's what it's giving. And now you could see that I'm saying that, you know, do that. And the other thing that I'm saying is that we have dollar and we have options. So we have options, and that equals to this I. Now this I means case insensitive. Some, like I told you that that means pattern, and this I means case insensitive. So either it's lowercase or uppercase, it's gonna exist. So final can also retrieve if it's like this. So like the case insensitivity will be handled through that. Okay, now after that we have the offer. So let's go, and the next part is the offer. We all set all these variables, so we're just putting them one by one here. Furnished, we have parking, and the last one we have is type. So all of this is there, which is pretty good. Now the thing we have to do is just sort it. So we could just say dot sort, and we could say square brackets sort by order. All right, and we have dot limit, and we'll put a limit to it, and you know, the limit that we gave, like 9 or whatever default, and dot skip because start index. So you know, you could start from the start index, which is from 0, and it could give you the first 9, or you could go to the 1 index and you skip the first 9. So you know, you got what I meant. So this is like the entire search query thing, and we could just return response.status through this API call, and we could just say to json.listings, just retrieve the listing, and you know, it should give us the listing there. And then if it's not, you already know that we have this catch. So this is really great. We have this, we have a format document, and just, you know, format document. You could, I normally try to do that, format document. Okay, so now you can see that this is there, and you know, everything looks good. And you know, we could now move forward because this listing has been done completely. So now that we have created this API, we want now to do the next part. All right, so the next part here is we're gonna have to go to the components. So you can see over here we have the client side, and in here we have the source, and we have the components, and we have the header. Now remember, this header has this search input. Now if go back here, okay, so that basically crossed everything. So let me just open this up again. So this is normally this thing. Let's just open it up according to our browser. So this was, our browser is this one, and we're gonna paste it here. Okay, so we're still logged in, which is good. Okay, so now this is the nav bar I'm talking about, right? This header, we have to go to the header component, and we're normally there. So let me just go back to my header component, and over here we could see that there's a lot of good things, but the thing that we need to consider is the you know, the input. So you can see over here we have the div, and then we have h1, and we have the link, and we have the form. Okay, in this form we have this search, right? This input field, we have the search, but we have to put in you know, the value and on change states for this search to, you know, actually work. So what we're gonna do is we're normally just gonna go here and put the value. So we're gonna put a value, and we're gonna have to put as search term. Now the thing is, search term does not exist. We have to define this. So we could define search term somewhere on the top. So if I go and you know, just go into the over here, and I could just say const search term, and we could say it like that. So normally the search term would be empty, and then you could have it according to what your need is. Also, I might have to use navigate, so I'm going to use navigate from link React Router DOM. So use navigate, and I'm also going to have const navigate over here. Okay, so now that's good. We could go to the search term here, and now you know that that would exist, which is value search term. But the thing now that we need is the, the next part of this. So this is an on change state. So on change, and this is gonna track the changes. So on change, and then we have the event, and we have this, and we have set search term, and then we have e.target.value. This is really great because we're basically tracking the state. Of course, we don't have some of the things defined. So search term, set search term. Let's see. This looks good. E.target.value, and everything looks good. I mean, what's wrong with now? Console, and you could see over here on reference use state is not defined. So we'll have to go and import use state quickly. So you could see over here we have use state. So let's go here and say control and space and enter. Okay, so you have use state defined, and you can see over here looks good. And you could just normally say hello, but you can't actually see it right now until you you could actually console log the search term as well. So console log, and then you could say search term like this. So like this, and whenever you're typing something, it's basically changing. So that's just how to track the search term. We don't need this right now. So now that we have have the ability to track it, we'll have to go to the button here. So you can see over here that there's actually a button. We have to create this because there was this magnifying icon and also the enter. So we want to put it in a button format. So to go and make it in a button is also very simple. Let's just go, and you can see over here we have this go up on the top. You can see over here this is the input, and this is the the icon for the thing. So we could just put it as a button. So we could say button and just bring this in here. Okay, 1 minute. So we'll have this up here. Okay, so we have button, and we have this form, but the thing is this form has to have an action. So we'll have to put an on submit event handler, and we'll put it over here. So on submit handler, and it's going to be like this. And the on submit handler would essentially have the functionality which is going to be called handle submit. Okay, so this handle submit will have to be on the top here somewhere. So we'll have to define handle submit functionality. So over here we're going to have const handle submit like that, and then we have event, and we have like that, and then over here we're gonna have e.prevent default, which is like the default behavior. Normally when you try to submit a form, it tries to refresh, so you would say e.prevent default. The other thing is that we have to go and consider the URL params. All right, this URL params are coming from the new URL search params. This is by default provided by JavaScript, React, and we could use that. It's a constructor provided by React. So the thing is location.search. Now what I'm saying is that I said window.location.search, and I'm saying URL search params. I'm getting the entire URL search params normally from this section. So that's really cool. Then we have this handle submit, and we're putting in new URL URL search params. So the URL params that we had are gonna set to the search term. So you can see the search term is actually a value, and its key will be that, but the value for that search term will be the actual search term that we're tracking. So we're gonna type in something, let's suppose Apple. That's gonna be tracked inside. That's gonna be our search term, and it's gonna be in this URL params.set. Okay, now that we have all of that, we could say const search query. This could be search query, Query, and we could say URL params, right, .toString. This is going to convert the entire URL params to a string and then make it as a query. And then once you have the query, you could just navigate it to that accordingly. So it's just going to take you to /search and then, you know, dollar question, and then inside of it you could have the search query. So okay, accordingly, you know, it's going to have the same type of things like what normal search features do. So that's essentially the goal here for the handle submit, is to just do that. But to actually see this in action, to see the search term in the search box, you would have to put a navigate feature, because at the moment, you know, you wouldn't see much because there's nothing being console logged. But you could see over here we have search, we have search term Apple. You can see that. But if I try to change the search term here and I say banana, it's not going to reflect it into this search box, right? So we're going to have to change it from there. But you could see over here, if I change Apple here, you could see over here that search question, and then we have the search term equal to Apple, which is really awesome. I mean, this progress has been done really greatly. So we have the search term, and you can see /search, and then we have the search query, and the search query begins with the search term equal to Apple, and that's why it's being populated there. Okay, now let's add the other thing so that it's easily able to be viewable. So for that purpose, what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in use effect, and I'm gonna have the you know, type here, and we're gonna put a list dependency over here, dependency array, and we're gonna say URL params, okay, is equal to new URL search params, and we'll have window. Actually, now we just could have location dot search. Okay, so it's URL params and new URL search params, and we're gonna have location dot search. So these are the URL params, and over here we could say const you know, search term from URL, and I'm gonna try to put it inside of my state. So URL params dot get, and I could actually get the search term. You know, saying the search term, it's just gonna bring the search term URL, right? So you can see I'm saying give me the search term, and whatever the value is, Apple, just give it to me. So this is gonna give it to me, and after that, you'll see. Okay, what I don't know what's. Okay, some kind of issues. Uncaught use effect is not. Yeah, that's the only reason why the issue is occurring. So you could just have control and space and just add it. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so you can see I'm saying that, you know, give me that thing on the search term. Like suppose if I say Apple. Okay, right now it's the search term Apple, but I want that to be over here. If I, you know, actually change it from here, let's suppose banana, like I was demonstrating, I want that affected here. Like it's the search term, whatever the value is, banana, save it in this you know, const variable, and then populate it within the state. That's what I'm asking for. All right, so we could say search term from URL, that's what we got, and then we populate it using, if the search term from URL is legit, we could just say set search term to the search term from URL, and normally this is how the thing will work. And you gotta also just trigger this until the location dot search, you know, location dot search has some kind of change in it. So normally this is how this you know, process would work. And now you could see this in action as well. So if I look at let's suppose if I say orange here, now you can see that orange there, no routes being matched. I mean, you could ignore this because we don't have any routes specified, but you could see the search term has also been changed. But if I say like something like kiwi over here, now I press enter, now you can see that it's been populated here. And you could add some more things like, you know, like ampersand, and then you could have ampersand, where is this? And you could say limit equal to 2. Now suppose there's more things, limit equal to 3, but you can still see that the kiwi hasn't been disappeared. If I change it to something like mango, and I could see now the mango is still there and the limit 3 hasn't disappeared. So this is exactly what we want. This is how things have to go. So this is right now really great progress so far. And we can see that we have created this use effect and this header you know, part for this search query. Okay, that's super awesome. Now we have to create the search page UI because it has nothing here right now, and I want to create the UI.